Hello students, welcome to Shrestha for CA and CMA. Myself DV Subramaniam and I am here to discuss corporate laws amendments and corporate laws related questions. Now, with respect to other laws, Madam Vikita will deal all those topics. Fine. So before starting my discussion, let me tell you a small point. So we are left with some 22 days with respect to upcoming November 2022 examination, right? So 22 days is very important time period just for revision only. So revise the topics which you covered so far. Don't try to learn new things because we are having very short time. And revision is very much important for qualifying the exams. Don't think about the result because fear of result will definitely kill your concentration. So result is simply output of your preparation. So don't concentrate on the result, just concentrate on your day-to-day preparation. Fine. Let's begin our discussion with respect to amendments. First, I'll deal with amendments. Next, I'll discuss case-based questions that are there in RTP, and then the questions that are covered in RTP. Fine. So, first one, amendments. That is amendment covered in chapter number 2, incorporation of company and matters incidental thereto. So, in this chapter, there is a topic called section 16. It deals with rectification of name. So rectification of name, I am using word rectification. When we use word rectification, suppose one mistake happened. One mistake happened. What is the solution? Rectify. Understood? For example, I incorporated a company. The name of company is similar to the name of existing company. Or it is similar or identical with the name of existing registered trademark. No, without any intentional. Suppose ROC issued certificate of incorporation. See, nowadays these kind of issues are not happening. Just 3 days back, I filed an application for a company with the name Ganesh Chili's 1% Company Private Limited. Immediately the next day, I received a letter. I received a mail from ROC stating that, sir, you used the word Ganesh. It is already a registered trademark. It is already there under registered trademark list. If you want to use that name, simply get NOC, no objection certificate from the owner of registered trademark. So nowadays, because of this technology, advancement in technology, these issues are not happening, but previously these issues happened. So the point is, I used the name which is similar to the name of existing company, or I used the word, which is identical with the name of existing trademark. Now, what is the solution, sir? The owner of registered trademark is having a power to file an application with central government within 3 years of incorporation of the company using word trademark. Now, central government shall give order to the company to rectify its name. You're getting my point? So, the company has to change its name within a period of 3 months. Earlier, it is 6 months, ma. Suppose, if you are reading, Shrestha material, if you're reading Shrestha material, you can get this point. So, section 16, rectification of name by central government. See the second point, B point. B point. But before reading B point, just see the first point, ma. Just 1 second. Just see the first point. If through inadvertence or otherwise, a company on its first registration or on its registration by a new name is registered by a name which, B point, on an application by a registered proprietor of trademark, just 1 second, ma. So registered owner, registered proprietor of trademark, that the name is identical with or too nearly resembles to a registered trademark of such proprietor under the Trademark Act 1999 made to the central government within 3 years of incorporation or registration or change of name of the company, in the opinion of central government, is identical with or to resemble to an existing trademark. It may direct the company to change its name, and the company shall change name or new name as the case may be within a period of 6 months. So the amendment is, in the place of 6 months, they give time period of 3 months. So simply, what is the implication of these amendments, sir? Previously, you had 6 months for rectification of name when your name is, identical with the name of registered trademark. It is nothing but, infringement of trademark. unauthorized, without any permission. If you are using a registered trademark, then a owner of registered trademark can file an application with central government, and central government will direct you, will order you to change your name. So previously the time period for rectification is 6 months. Now the time period of 6 months is reduced to 3 months. You may get a doubt, sir, what happen if company won't respond? Then, central government may remove your name from the registrar of companies, or may file a petition for liquidation of the company. Understood? So you need to rectify the name. What is the time period? 3 months. Clear? Fine, ma. So that is the first amendment. That is the first amendment. Just read it, you will get the point. So previously the time period is 6 months. So this is nothing but modification to the existing provision. This is not a new point, this is modification to existing provision. So previously it is 6 months, now it was reduced to 3 months. You can find here 3 months, sorry. In subsection 1 clause B, for the words period of 6 months, the words period of 3 months shall be substituted. What is the implication? You had very less time to revise the name. So during the time period, what procedure I need to follow for rectification of names, sir? Very simple, call for a general meeting. In the general meeting, obtain ordinary resolution from the members. Simply OR is sufficient. Generally, for alteration of MOA, special resolution is required. Whereas for rectification of name, ordinary resolution is sufficient. And alter MOA, AOA. Now file this copy of members resolution and central government order to rectify the name and altered MOA, AOA with ROC. Now ROC shall issue a fresh certificate of incorporation with new name. Understood? So this is the procedure, but this procedure should be completed within a period of 3 months. Previously it is 6, but now it is 3 months. Now very important for upcoming exams, MCQ point of view. Just read it thoroughly. Next, coming to the second amendment, that is, it is there in registration of charges. I hope everyone knows about the charge. So whenever company creates some interest or lien on any particular asset or a property or undertakings in favor of other party, then it has to register the charge with ROC. So generally company taking money from the bank or from any person, providing some securities, providing some assets as a security. Here the word security is important. Security is nothing but charge. So whenever a charge is created under section 77, the charge should be registered with ROC. Registered with ROC. What is the time period, ma? 30 days with normal fees. Beyond 30 days you can register, but you need to pay additional fees. Understood? So that is all about section 77, and we had an amendment in this section 77. This is not a modification, this is a new point. See, ma, nothing contained in this rule shall apply to any charge required to be created or modified by a banking company under section 77 in favor of Reserve Bank of India when any loan or advance has been made to it under subclause D of clause 4 of section 17 of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So here you need to remember 2 points. Banking company is taking loan or advance from Reserve Bank of India. For this, bank is providing some properties as a security in favor of RBI, in favor of Reserve Bank of India. I'll give you an example. Take State Bank of India. It is a banking company. Axis Bank. You can see State Bank of India share price in stock exchanges. Axis Bank share price. Yes or no? No, these are companies, particularly banking companies. Suppose these companies, banking companies are facing some financial crunch. Liquidity problem. There is a liquidity problem. Definitely, banks will go to RBI, lender of last resort, bankers bank, central bank, simply, the other names to Reserve Bank of India. So SBI went to RBI for a loan of some 2000 crores. RBI immediately asked, yes, furnish some security. SBI provided some properties as a security. It created some charge on the assets in favor of Reserve Bank of India. According to this latest amendment, there is no duty on SBI to register this charge with ROC. because it is providing security in favor of Reserve Bank of India, which is covered under RBI Act 1934. Simply, for ease of doing business. Ease of doing business. So whenever banking companies face some financial crunch, definitely they will go to RBI. Every time filing these documents with ROC, every time whenever modification happens, again filing these documents with ROC, it will have some impact on their business operations. That's it. Nothing more than that. So is it clear, my dear students? And one more point, keep it clear. This provision is not applicable only to the banking company. Provision, this amendment, this relaxation is available only to the banking company only if it borrow money from RBI. Only if it provides some securities in favor of RBI. Imagine, SBI came to me, SBI approached me. So, Mr. Subramaniam, we need 2000 crores. Can you provide 2000 crores? I said, okay, but I need some properties as a security, furnish me security. SBI provided some, 20 land and 20 buildings, they had some 20 assets in particular state. So SBI mortgaged all those properties in favor of me. I'm not Reserve Bank of India. Now the point is, this charge to be registered with ROC or not to be registered with ROC? The answer is obviously yes, to be registered with ROC. I'm just telling you, they have approached me or not approaching me is not a point. SBI borrow money from other persons, other than RBI by providing securities, then that charge should be registered. The only point is banking company providing securities in favor of RBI for the purpose of getting some loans or advances, then that charge is not required to be registered with ROC. So this is a newly added point. This is not there in previous materials. Next, in general meetings, we had, in management and administration, we had one more amendment. So this is also, newly added point. This is not modification to the existing provision. So, sir, what is the latest point? What is the newly added point, sir? Under section 88, every company is required to maintain register of members. Registers. So company is required to maintain separate registers for separate securities. So for equity shares, one register. For preference shares, one register. They need to maintain a register of members. The point is, Rule 14 of Companies Management and Administration Rules 2014 is allowing a member or a debenture holder or a significant beneficial owner or a beneficial owner or outsider also. Outsider. So these people are entitled to inspect register of members. Except outsiders, other members can inspect them at free of cost and they can take copies also. With respect to outsider, they need to pay some fees, which will be specified in articles of association. So the point is, during inspection or taking copies, if they collect personal details of the members, it is nothing but data loss of data confidentiality. Simply confidentiality of the data will be lost, because I'm a member of a Reliance industry. Imagine, I'm a member of a company, for example Reliance Private Limited. Being a member, my details were there with the company. My details means what? Simply name DV Subramaniam holding 2000 shares. It's not like that. DV Subramaniam, KYC details, Aadhaar number, mobile number, email ID, PAN number, permanent account number, PAN number, bank account details, and then next one, number of shares held by me, address, my residential address. All this information will definitely, this information will be held by the company. Now some outsiders or members coming to the company asking this data, copying my personal data leads to confidence, leads to it will definitely affect my privacy. Are you all getting my point? So what happens are, the very next week, I will get some promotional calls. Sir, we came to know that you invested this much money in the company, right? So we are having wonderful offers, sir. Please listen to the offers. Or for any promotional, getting a for any promotional events, they're sending messages to me. Sir, who are they? No, they are not related to me. How they are getting my numbers? Simply by inspecting register of members maintained by the company. So this is really a serious matter. This is a serious matter. Sima, if you are getting a offer calls from some companies, definitely your time will be, your concentration will be affected. Your time will be lost. Right away, what we will do? will keep that numbers as a spam. You will report them as a spam and you will block the numbers. Yes or no? It's a simply headache to you people. Similarly, being a member, if someone is copying my data means what? My address details, my email ID, my phone number, my PAN number, my Aadhaar number. If they copy all those numbers, definitely my privacy gets affected. So considering these points, Ministry of Corporate Affairs amended these rules. MCA amended these rules, stating that you can inspect, my dear stakeholders, you can inspect register of members maintained by the company, but you are not entitled to inspect the details of the members. You are not entitled to take extract of the copies. You are not entitled to take the personal data of the members. Personal data of the members is not allowed. So simply, company can provide, these are the members of our company, some one Mr. DV Subramaniam, two Mr. Rex, three Mr. Y. It can provide that list, but the details of the member, company should not provide. Just see the point. Notwithstanding anything contained in subrule 1, subrule 2, the following particulars of the register or index or written in respect of members of companies shall not be made available for any inspection under subsection 2 or for taking extracts or copies under subsection 3 of section 94, namely address of a member, registered address if a member is a body corporate, email ID, unique identification number, simply my Aadhaar number, PAN number. Understood, ma? So first, privacy, simply to protect privacy, personal data is not, you are not allowed to inspect the personal details of the member. Understood? Next fourth amendment, this is also, newly inserted point. This is not modification to the existing provision. This is a newly added point. So when you see this, investor education and protection fund, you know that, under section 125, certain amounts shall be credited to IEPF account, like, the dividends which are not claimed for a period of 7 years, and shares with respect to, dividends which are not claimed for a period of 7 consecutive years, right? Unclaimed dividends, unpaid dividends, and shares with respect to these dividends. You need to credit all these, company should credit all these amounts, all these securities to IEPF, right? Yeah, we had a list, ma. When you see our material, no, we had a list. Question number 12. We had a list of the amounts to be credited to IEPF account, right? So to this list, one more point was added. One more point was added, recently added. What is that point, sir? All shares held by the authority in accordance with proviso of subsection 9 of section 90. What is section 90? Section 90 is all about, significant beneficial ownership concept. So what is the significant beneficial ownership? Let me tell you. Holding shares means you are having two kinds of ownership. One is legal, the other one is beneficial. Legal means, when securities are registered in your name, you are a legal owner. You are a legal owner. And if you are only the person entitled to the benefits of the security, you can enjoy the benefits. You're not diverting the benefits to someone else. So you are entitled to claim all the benefits with respect to security. That means you are also a beneficial owner. So both legal and beneficial owner, you will be treated as both legal and beneficial owner. Sometimes if you are failed to establish that you are a beneficial owner, suppose you are not a beneficial owner. Why? Let me give you one example. Don't get confused, students. Just listen to the example. My net worth is, imagine, my net worth is 1 lakh rupee, ma. My net worth is 1 lakh rupee only. Even if you see my income tax returns, I'm declaring income of just, 30,000, 40,000 yearly basis. My net worth is simply 1 lakh. But suddenly, one day, I acquired 1 crore rupees worth of Reliance shares. So suddenly 1 crore rupees worth of shares got credited to my account because I invested 1 crore to acquire those shares. Now definitely a doubt will come. Sir, your net worth is 1 lakh. How you invested, 1 crore rupees in Reliance Industry Limited shares? Now, burden of proof lies on me. I should prove that, I should establish that, no, that 1 crore belongs to me only. So securities belongs to me only. I'm entitled to all the benefits with respect to that securities. I should establish. If I fail to establish, that means, I'm just a legal owner. Beneficial owner is some other person. That means, one person funded me 1 crore rupees. and he gave me direction to acquire shares of Reliance. I did accordingly. Now, if you check, those shares are registered in my name, so I'm the legal owner. But I'm holding these shares not for myself. I'm holding these shares on behalf of some person, one person. That person is treated as beneficial owner. And if this holding, if it exceeds, if it is 10% or more, if the holding is 10% or more of the company's paid up share capital, then that person is treated as significant beneficial owner. According to section 90, if you are simply holding shares without beneficial interest, you should file a declaration with company stating that, sir, I am holding 1 crore rupees worth of shares. For this, I am just a legal owner. Beneficial owner is Mr. X. If I fail to furnish the details, company having doubt on me, company can furnish, company can give notice to me. And if I fail to respond to that notice, then company will simply, with the permission of NCLT, suspend all my rights with respect to those shares. And all those shares and the benefits arising from that shares, all this money, will be transferred to IEPF. Previously, we had a list of some 10 to 50, 10 to 12 items. What are the amounts to be credited to IEPF? To that list, one more point is added, my dear students. Nothing beyond that. Nothing beyond that. What is that one more point, sir? When I fail to comply section 90 subsection 9 norms, then company will suspend all my rights. Company will take those shares. Now company is having a duty to transfer these shares to IEPF. First of all, first point. And whatever benefits arising from those shares, suppose simply company is paying dividend of 10 rupees on each and every share every year. Now this is a benefit of holding that share. All these resulting benefits should also be transferred to IEPF without any restrictions. Understood? So simply a newly added point. Next one, Fifth Amendment, last amendment. This is there in accounts of companies. The subsequent to COVID-19, many clarifications were issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Suppose companies spending some money with respect to COVID-19. Company is having a doubt whether this money is eligible for CSR or not. CSR eligibility. Simply first of all, do you remember CSR applicability? Section 135. So company having net profit, 5 crores or more, turnover 1000 crores or more, net worth 500 crores or more. Did you remember? So all those companies are required to comply section 135. They need to spend at least 2% of last 3 years, preceding current year, and simply 3 years net profits, 2% average, 2% of average net profit of the 3 years. They need to spend on the corporate social responsibility activities. Corporate social responsibility activities, yes or no? All those activities were specified under schedule 7, right? Now during the implementation of this section, many companies got a doubt. Suppose we are spending money on the manufacturing, just see this point, creating health infrastructure for COVID care centers, establishment of medical oxygen generation and storage plants, manufacturing and supply of oxygen concentrators, ventilators, cylinders, and other medical equipment for countering COVID-19 or similar such activities. So spending all this money on these activities, sir. Now, this expenditure, is it a CSR expenditure or not? Like that, some practical issues came into the picture. And MCA issued a circular dated 5th May 2021 stating that whatever money you spent on these activities, they're eligible. These are treated as eligible CSR activities and relating to the promotion of healthcare, including preventive healthcare, disaster management, respectively. So simply they issued clarifications. These are nothing but clarifications. They made a clarification. They're not amendments. They're simply clarifications. And with respect to CSR, we just had two clarifications. That is first one, oxygen cylinders, ventilators. Second clarification was given on 30th July 2021. You can observe, COVID second wave. Yeah, yes, first wave 2020, second wave 2021, April to July. Yes or no? So this clarification is with respect to vaccination. Further clarified that spending CSR funds of COVID-19 vaccination for persons other than employees and their employee families is an eligible CSR activity. Yeah, this point is there in main concept also. Suppose, mom, my my objective is providing education. Company CSR objective is providing education. Now, providing education services to outsiders, yes, it is eligible under CSR. Providing education services to the employee children, it is not eligible. That means, if employees are getting benefit from the company, extra benefit other than their salary, other than their wages, that expenditure is not eligible under CSR. You need to spend one more time, you need to spend again and again, because amount spent with respect to employees families, so this is not treated as CSR. Purely that amount should be spent on the society outsiders, not insiders, not employees. So the point is, uh, government announced free vaccination, right? Do you think government will get free vaccines? No, government need to spend that money. And suppose, I offered, sir, with respect to particular area, I'll conduct vaccination. So whatever money needed, I'll spend, sir. I'll spend. But the vaccination center is exclusively for the benefit of employees of the company. Now, whatever amount you spent on that CSR activity, it is not eligible expenditure. It is ineligible CSR expenditure. So that vaccination center should be kept for all the people, and the expenses you spent on the vaccination center, that benefit, the benefit derived by the people other than employees of the company and other than employee families of the company, it is only an eligible expenditure. It will be counted accordingly. Understood? So I opened a vaccination center, I invested some 100 crores for getting vaccines, and all these, vaccines are meant only for my company employees, my company employee families, sir. Now this 100 crores, whatever you spend, it is not a CSR expenditure. It is not a CSR activity. Is it clear, my dear students? And we had amendment. This is a newly added point. This is amendment. Earlier 2 points are clarification. This is an amendment. So what is that amendment? This is simply, a reporting responsibility. Every year, company has to file. Wait 1 second. Every year, company has to file AOC 4 and MGT 7 with ROC. One is annual return, the other one is accounts of company, financial statements, audit report, independent audit report, board report, AOC 4. Now, newly, Ministry of Corporate Affairs came with with an additional reporting responsibility. That is, so companies to whom Section 135 subsection 1 is applicable. That means, I told you just now. So 5 crores net profit, 500 crores net worth, 1000 crores turnover. So to whom CSR is applicable, in addition to AOC 4, they need to file additional form, that is CSR 2. This form is all about, company CSR activities. So what is their activity? How much funds they allocated, how much funds they spent, balance, what is the status with respect to balance funds. So additional reporting responsibility. So companies, in addition to AOC 4 or AOC 4 XBRL, you need to file CSR 2. But the point is, this provision came on 11th February 2022. And the Ministry of Corporate Affairs want to apply this reporting responsibility with respect to financial year 2020-21. So financial statements of 2020-21. So when you're filing AOC 4 with ROC, you need to file additional form CSR 2, addendum. So this is an additional form. So you need to file CSR 2 along with AOC 4. But they realized that this was very late. Why? Because with respect to 2020-21, we need to conduct AGM within 6 months from the closure of financial year. I hope everyone is aware of the due date of AGM. Within 6 months from the closure of financial year, the maximum time gap between two AGM shall not exceed 15 months, right? So worst situation, 30th September 2021 is the last date for conducting general meeting. And from the date of general meeting, within 30 days, you need to file AOC 4 with ROC. Yes or no? And within 60 days, you need to file annual returns with ROC. Section 92 is different, section 137 is different. My dear students, don't get confused. So you need to file AOC 4 within 30 days from the date of AGM. Most probably 30th October. 30th October 2021 you should file AOC4. So this is bookish concept. Once again I'm telling you, bookish concept. Practically what happened, MCA extended the deadlines for conducting general meeting. They gave time limit up to 31st December. You can conduct general meeting up to 31st December. And for filing AOC4 MJT7 they gave time up to I think, if I'm not wrong, up to February 15. Yeah, I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I'm aware of all these points. This is purely out of subject, ma. This is purely practical, so not relevant for your exams. If I'm not wrong, they gave time limits up to Feb 15, March 15, 2022. They gave time up to March 15, 2022 for filing all these forms. But according to the Companies Act 2013, you need to file all these forms within 30 days from the date of AGM. Are you getting my point? Suppose my company conducted AGM on 30th September 2021, and I filed AOC4 with respect to financial year 2020-21 on 30th October 2021. Almost after 5 months, November, December, January, February, almost after 4 months, that is on 11th February 2022, government is asking me, Ministry of Corporate Affairs is asking me file CSR2 in addition to AOC4. But I already filed AOC4 in long back, in October 2021. Then what is the solution to this problem? What is the solution? Because AOC4 already filed. What rule is telling? In addition to AOC4, in AOC4, you need to attach CSR2 also. CSR2, both forms you need to file it with ROC. But I filed AOC4 long back, in October 2021. Now, what about my situation? Don't worry. File this form separately. With respect to only this year, for financial year 2020-21, form CSR2 shall be filed separately on or before 31st March 2022. Even after filing form AOC4, AOC4 XBRL or AOC4 NBFC Ind AS, as the case may be. But from the next year onwards, if you ask me next year onwards, that means next year means what, ma? Financial year 2021-22. From the next year onwards, whenever you are filing AOC4, along with AOC4, file CSR2 also. Simply addendum. In addition to the AOC4, file CSR2 also. But with respect to 2020-21, we are giving you freedom. We are giving you simply, privilege. File forms separately. Because we came up with this provision, we came up with this provision very late. So almost 11th February 2022. By the time you might have filed AOC4, right? So now file CSR2 separately. But from the next year onwards, along with AOC4, file CSR2 also. By the way, this provision is applicable only to the companies to whom CSR is applicable. Understood? Suppose my company, my net profit is less than 5 crores, my net turnover is less than 1000 crores, my net worth is less than 500 crores. No need to comply these norms. No need to file CSR2. Understood, my dear students? So this is simply additional reporting responsibility, nothing more than that. So with this amendments we completed, ma. Now let's discuss case scenario multiple choice questions. So listen carefully. Street Tires Limited is an unlisted public company, limited company. The company's accounts for the financial year ending on 31st March 2022 were finalized and audited by statutory auditor. The meeting of board of directors was convened and approved the financial accounts of the company and proposed to convene AGM of the shareholders on Thursday, 25th August 2022 at 10 a.m. So finalized AGM date is 25th August 2022 and the time of the meeting is 10 a.m. Okay, fine. So this is an important point. The total number of members is 3500. So according to the register of members, the number is 3500. The articles of company provides that the quorum for the general meeting of shareholders shall be at least 50 members. See, if you ask me about quorum for private company, the quorum is minimum 2 or number mentioned in AOA, whichever is higher. If it is a public company, whether it is a listed or unlisted, forget about it. If it is a public limited company, then up to 1000 the quorum is 5, 1001 to 5000 the quorum is 15, and above 5000, that means 5001 and above, the applicable quorum is 30, or number mentioned in AOA, whichever is higher. If you see the number falls in, the number is 3500, it is in the second slab. Yes or no? It is in the second slab. According to the second slab, the applicable quorum is 15. But in their AOA, it is 50, 50. So now which one I should follow, sir? 50. So what is our quorum? 50. AOA or Act, whichever is higher. In Act, it is 15 numbers, 15 members. But in AOA, it is 50. So 50 is your applicable quorum. On the day of meeting, only 10 members were physically present. Okay. Even after waiting of 30 minutes, the quorum was not present. Accordingly, the meeting was adjourned. Yes, if there is no quorum, the meeting automatically stands adjourned. According to the provisions of Companies Act 2013, the meeting shall adjourn to the same day in the next week at the same time and same place. Okay, fine. However, on the same day in the next week, that is on Thursday, the 1st September 2022, at the same venue, was available from 3 p.m. onwards, 3 p.m. only. The board agreed to conduct the meeting from 3 p.m. and all the members were informed individually via email and also published it in the newspapers, one in English and other in vernacular language. Okay, now 3 days before the adjourned meeting, you need to give notice, ma. If notice is not possible, then you need to publish it in two newspapers. Okay, company did perfectly. The adjourned meeting started at 3 p.m. on 1st September 2022. The quorum required as per articles was 50. However, 75 members were present. Fine. Out of 75 members attending the meeting, 25 persons were having the residence near the venue of AGM and rest of the members were staying far away. Okay. Due to heavy rainfall and scarce availability of public transportation, 40 persons left the meeting. The total how many members attended? 75. Quorum is there. But 40 left the meeting. That means, what is no, how many members present at the meeting? 35, which is less than 50. That means, once again, quorum is lost. The moment quorum is lost, the meeting stands adjourned. But if the meeting was adjourned due to lack of quorum in original meeting, then there is no problem at adjourned meeting. You can continue with the persons who ever attend the meeting. Okay. See, by the time only the ordinary business resolutions were approved and two special business agendas were pending for approval by the members. There is a point in a company's act, quorum should be present throughout the meeting. If AOA is silent, if articles of association is silent, then quorum should be present throughout the meeting. Half of the meeting completed, sir, we lost the quorum. Then, suspend the meeting from that point onwards. Simply, adjourn the meeting. Don't discuss remaining points. So once again quorum is present, then discuss remaining points. Quorum is important throughout the meeting. Okay, let's solve the MCQs, ma'am. You'll get a clarity. In the light of given facts, the general meeting of shareholders was decided to be scheduled, determined by which date the notices to the shareholders should be given to the members. So the decided time is 25th August 2022, 10 a.m., right? If you ask me the length of the notice, it should be 21 clear days. The time gap between date of notice and date of meeting is 21 clear days. You know what this clear indicates? It indicates, it excludes date of notice as well as date of meeting. It excludes date of notice as well as date of meeting. So these two dates will be excluded. The remaining time period should be 21 days. So just calculate it, ma. Simply, 25th August minus 21 days. You'll get some 4th August. But I need to exclude 4th August also. I need to exclude 25th August. I need to exclude 4th August. So the answer is 3rd August 2022. Yeah, you can make a calculation. Suppose, 3rd August to 25th August. Just calculate the time limit. Ignore 3rd, ignore 25th. Ignore 3rd as well as ignore 25th. Now see, calculate. 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So 7 days. From 11th August to 20th August, 10 days. So 17 days. 17 days. 21, 22, 23, 24. 4 days. 17 plus 4, 21 days. Just calculate the time limit between 3rd August and 25th August. Ignoring 3rd August and 25th August. It is correct, 21 days. So the answer is 3rd August 2022. But many people will get a doubt. Sir, in case of sending notice through post, 48 hours should be added, for putting the notice into the transmission, 48 hours shall be deducted. No, sir. No, nowhere it was mentioned, sending notice through post. This is a general rule. According to the general rule, 21 clear days excludes date of notice and date of meeting. If they ask you, suppose, sending notice through post, then answer would be 1st August. That is an exceptional case. They didn't ask you exceptional case. This is a general provision based MCQ. According to the general provision, so don't remember that 48 hours concept. So general provision concept, 21 clear days excluding date of notice and date of meeting. So the answer is 3rd August 2022, my dear student. Next question. Whether adjournment of the meeting of shareholders of Steel Tires Limited for want of quorum was justified? Yes, because quorum should be present within 30 minutes. There is no quorum, then meeting should be adjourned. So yes, it was justified since quorum was not present within 30 minutes from the time appointed for holding the meeting. So why other options are not correct? We'll see those points also. No, it was not justified. No, it's wrong answer. Actually, whenever there is no quorum within 30 minutes, you should adjourn the meeting. So what they're telling, the requisite quorum is 30 minutes as per provisions of Companies Act, whereas the decision of adjournment of the meeting was just taken after 15 minutes. No, it is not. It is not a correct answer. Yes, if the quorum is not present at the given time sharp of the meeting stands to be adjourned. No, it's not sharp of the meeting. It is within 30 minutes from the scheduled time. Scheduled time is 10 a.m. So till 10:30, chairperson will check whether quorum is present or not. If quorum is not present, then chairperson has to adjourn the meeting. Yes, it was justified since quorum was not present within 45 minutes. 45 minutes is not a correct point. 30 minutes is the correct point. Next, what shall be the quorum for general meeting of shareholders whereas the number of members is 3,500? Many people will select option B, but this is wrong option. Answer is D. So why sir? 3,500 means it is falling between 1,001 and 5,000. According to that, 15 members personally present is the correct answer. No sir. But don't forget, my dear students, in case scenario, the point is very clear. As per the articles, at least 50 members should present. At least 50 members should present. So now 15 as per Act, 50 as per AOA, whichever is higher, the answer is 50. So these are the minute areas, man. Small areas where students usually do mistake. These are the small areas where students usually do mistake. It cost an attempt. 6 months is not a small time. So how much time you prepared, how many revisions you did, it is irrelevant. It is irrelevant. You should attempt, you should read question carefully. Because myself confused. I thought 15 is the correct answer. Telling you just the answer is 50. Why? Because scenario clearly told that AOA, as per AOA, it is 50. So I can imagine the pressure you will face in the examination is really high. But at the same time, you should be very careful, very clear with respect to the concept, or else you can't clear the exam, because this is a no moreover a psychological game. Knowledge plus psychological game. Our CA exams are both. They will test your knowledge and they will test your psychology also. You should handle the pressure. Okay, student. Next. So the answer is 50 ma. Next 1.4. As some members left the meeting, the quorum was not present all the time during the AGM. The agenda for special business transactions remains unapproved. What is your opinion? So the quorum once present in the beginning of meeting is enough. No ma. Quorum should be present throughout the meeting. The quorum should be present all the time when the meeting is in progress. Any items which could not be approved by the members for the want of quorum shall be treated as nil. Correct answer. And when the quorum is present in the beginning of the meeting, it may be assumed that all the resolutions have been approved until and unless objected later on by the members present therein. How can you make such a silly assumption? If members are present, that how can you assume that all the resolutions have been approved? No. The board may seek special written consent from all the members later on. No, 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 no. There is no such relaxation. There is no such privilege at all. Three answers wrong. Option B is the correct answer. So when you see this first MCQ scenario based question, this speaks about quorum, and then notice calling for general meeting, adjournment of meeting. Simply quorum only. The 2 points are covered in this case scenario. One is AGM notice calling for general meeting, and then quorum. Fine ma. And this question number 2 is related to bailment and pledge ma. So this question, Madam Vikita will deal. Next one, you'll get a separate video with respect to other laws. Don't worry. Next one, question number 3 is also with respect to General Clauses Act, interpretation of statutes topics. So you'll get it in a separate video. Next, fourth one, this is like fill in the blank, ma. Where a share capital of company is divided into different classes of shares, the rights attached to the shares of any class may be varied with the consent in writing of the holders of not less than how much percentage of the issued shares of that class or by means of special resolution. Very simple, 3/4. 3/4 of the issued shares. No, you had 75% also. It's not all about amount, it is all about number of shares. That's why 3/4 is my answer. Let me check the answer once. Fourth one, C, C is the answer. So 3/4. So don't ask me what is the difference between C and D. Both are same, but the apt answer is 3/4. 3/4 or 75% both are same, right? So the apt answer is 3/4 of the issued shares because you can't apply the percentage there. Next one, a public company may be formed by only two persons. Wrong answer, because a private company can be formed by two persons. Not more than three persons. Wrong answer. Not more than three persons is wrong answer. Not more than seven persons. It is also wrong answer because public company can have more unlimited number of members. So the right answer is seven or more members. So for forming a public company, minimum seven persons are required. Seven or more. Next, descriptive based questions. Companies Act, Company Law, the Companies Act 2013. Geeta Private Limited is a startup company. First of all, this is a private company and as well as startup company. Pay attention, my dear students. Mr. Prabodh has been appointed as accounts manager of Geeta Private Limited. The board meeting for approval of accounts is to be held on 1st August 2022 and he has to prepare financial statements for approval by the board. Referring to the section 2 clause 40 of Companies Act 13, advise Mr. Prabodh about the statements that are required to be prepared. No, answering this question, you need to write a provision, analysis, and conclusion. See, a provision and advice. See, first of all, what are the statements covered under financial statements? Ma? Five things. First one is, balance sheet, statement of efforts, profit and loss statement, cash flow statement. Next one, statement showing changes in equity, and finally, notes to account. Simply, explanatory statement. These five statements are covered under financial statement. But when you are a small company, one person company, small companies, startup private limited companies, startup companies, you are not required to prepare cash flow statement. The privilege is there. So for answering this kind of question, simply what are the components of the financial statements is what are the components of financial statements. The knowledge of this point is not sufficient. You need to think about startup company also. Startup company, private limited company being a startup, or private limited company being a small company, are having the privilege. No need to prepare cash flow statement. So 2 points you need to recap for answering this kind of questions. That's why I made an underline also. So when you go through the answer, my dear students, just let me see. Let me show you the answer. So five components, ma. Five components you can see here: balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, explanatory statement. But in the instant case, Mr. Prabodh has to prepare the above financial statement except cash flow statement, since Geeta Private Limited is a startup private company. Understood? So I'm telling you, just go through the answers once. Why? Because then only you can get a picture, how to present the answer. Knowledge alone is not sufficient. Presentation also matters. Next, coming to second question. Mr. Aditya had incorporated a OPC on 7th July 2021. Okay. Mr. Yash was named as a nominee in the memorandum of the said one-person company. Fine. Now, Aditya, considering the perpetual nature of the company form of business, desires to appoint ABC Private Limited as a nominee instead of Mr. Yash. Examine with reference to Companies Act whether the proposal of Mr. Aditya to appoint ABC Private Limited as a nominee is valid. Obviously invalid. Why, sir? To become a nominee or member of OPC, three conditions are compulsory. Only a resident, only a natural person can become member or nominee of OPC. Indian citizen, Indian resident. To this third point, we had a relaxation. Even if you are a non-resident, but if your period of stay in India is 120 days or more in the preceding financial year, then you are eligible to become a member of the OPC or nominee of the OPC. Fine. So this is very clear that only a natural person can become either member or nominee of OPC. But no member wants to appoint ABC Private Limited as a nominee. ABC Private Limited is not a natural person. Being an artificial person is ineligible or it is disqualified to act as a nominee. Understood, my dear students? You can see here the second point. Hence, the proposal of Mr. Aditya to appoint ABC Private Limited as a nominee is not valid because only a natural person who is an Indian citizen, whether resident in India or otherwise, shall be eligible to incorporate a OPC, shall be nominee for the sole member of OPC. Understood? Next, third question. A and his wife B has joint demat account in Vrinda Limited. The company AGM is to be held on 28th August 2022. In such a case, who can cast the vote in AGM? Give your answer as per provisions of Companies Act. Now, this is clearly about joint shareholding. In case of joint shareholding, the person named first in the list, two or three persons can hold a share jointly. If three persons are holding or two persons are holding, whose name appears first in the list, that person is entitled to cast vote at the general meeting. So is it A or B? It depends upon the instruction given by A, B to the company. So A and B is having a power to instruct the company. Sir, keep my name first, keep A name first and B name next. Company recorded accordingly, A first, B second. Now A is entitled to cast vote. Suppose if B name appears first, then B is entitled to cast vote at the general meeting. So see the answer, ma. In the given case, A or his wife B, whose name appears first in chronological order. Seniority. Seniority is not with respect to age. Seniority is not with respect to the experience. Seniority is with respect to appearance of name in a chronological order. Whose name appears first shall be entitled to the vote. Next, fourth question. Prabhas Limited is a company having its shares listed on a recognized stock exchange. The company has 5,000 members. AGM of the company is to be held on 7th September 2022. As per provisions of Companies Act, advise company the remote e-voting and the time of closing of remote e-voting. See, remote e-voting is applicable only to the two companies. One is listed and the other one is company having not less than 1,000 members. That means 1,000 or more members. In the given case, company is both listed as well as it is having more than 1,000 members. But definitely remote e-voting is applicable. That remote e-voting period is it should not be less than 3 days, and it should be closed by 5 p.m. a day before AGM, a day prior to AGM day. So suppose tomorrow is the AGM. Then remote e-voting should be conducted till 5 p.m. today, and it should be open for at least 3 days. Fine, you can see the answer here itself. If the AGM of Prabhas Limited is going to be held on 7th September, the facility of remote e-voting shall open on 4th September and close at 5 p.m. on 6th September. You can calculate the days 4, 5, 6, 3 days. And the closing time is 5 p.m. on 6th September 2022. And the members who didn't cast vote under remote e-voting and who personally attended the meeting can cast vote under e-voting at the AGM. Okay, so at AGM also e-voting will be open, but who can cast votes, sir? Persons attended the meeting and failed to exercise vote under remote e-voting can cast vote. Fine, so 3 days, 5 p.m. is the answer. Next, fifth question. Dhiman Limited is a company incorporated in India. Dhiman Limited is a leading manufacturer of sports shoes. It has many subsidiaries, one of them being Best Shoes Limited, which is based in Morocco. Dhiman Limited is in process of finalization of the consolidated financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st March 2022. The accounts section of the Dhiman Limited has requested the management of Best Shoes Limited to provide its standalone financial statements to Dhiman Limited. The subsidiary prepares its financial statements in the local language of the country and the same is provided to Indian parent company. Further audit of financial statements in Morocco country is not required by the Best Shoes Limited under Moroccan laws. Advise how would Dhiman Limited deal with the consolidation of such financial statements? You all know a company having subsidiary has to prepare consolidated financial statements considering the figures of subsidiary, right? So here the holding company, the parent company demand should consider all the standalone financial statements of subsidiary. But if any subsidiary company, prepare financial statements in their local language, those financial statements should be converted into Indian language. First point. And if audit was not required, if audit is not required according to their respective laws, you need to disclose the same point accordingly. So simply disclosure norms. Are you all getting my dear point? Are you all getting my point, students? So just go through the answer, ma. I'm just reading the conclusion. So Demand Limited would have to get standalone financial statements in English language and also get those aligned as per accounting policies for the purpose of consolidation. Further, Demand Limited would need to file such unaudited financial statements with a declaration to the effect along with a translated copy of financial statement in English. And the format of accounts of Moroccan subsidiary company should be as far as possible in accordance with the Companies Act 2013. In case if this is not possible, then a statement indicating the reasons for deviation may be placed filed along with such accounts disclosure to be done. So simply theory question. Next, sixth one. This is all about disqualifications of debenture trustee. So who can act as a debenture trustee? Are the following persons are they eligible to act as a debenture trustee? The first one, shareholder of a company who has shares of 10,000 rupees. So disqualified, ma. So here the point is person holding shares beneficial interest, holding beneficial ownership is disqualified. Nothing mentioned. I assume that the shareholder is having beneficial interest. So a shareholder can never become debenture trustee, disqualified. Suppose he is having legal ownership, beneficial interest was held by some other person. So he's not holding shares beneficially. Now he can act as a debenture trustee because he can be independent. As a owner of the company, definitely, I'll think about my company. I won't think about my creditors. So matter of independence. So the first point, disqualification. Second one, a creditor whom the company owes 999 only. Again disqualified. Here the amount is immaterial. 1 rupee, 2 rupee, immaterial. The person is having interest in the company as a creditor, disqualified. And a person who has given a guarantee for repayment of amount of debentures issued by the company. Simply, surety. Surety. Surety also disqualified. Surety also disqualified. Many students got a doubt. What is this point? Let me give you one illustration. Sima, I hope everyone knows about surety. Surety is a person, guarantor is a person who provides guarantee. Say for suppose just see here. Some three persons are there: X, D, and S. X borrowed money from D. So X is a principal debtor. D is a creditor, and this loan was guaranteed by S. S is a surety, right? So what concept of guarantee is telling you? If principal debtor makes default, then surety is liable to Mr. Creditor. Yes or no? Surety is liable to the creditor. Concept of guarantee, if whenever principal debtor makes default, surety is liable to the creditor, right? Imagine this X is a company, X Limited. They got money by issuing debentures. By issuing debentures, X Limited got money from debenture holders. And Mr. S is providing guarantee to debenture holders. Yes, if company fails to pay, I'll pay money to you. And company is planning to appoint S as a debenture trustee. The main responsibility of debenture trustee is to safeguard the interest of debenture holders, to protect the interest of debenture holders. Yes or no? So whenever company is doing, whenever company is deviating from the objects, so debenture trustee should intimate holders, your money is getting diverted or company is not in a position to pay money to you. Like that, debenture trustee should intimate debenture holders. Why? Because debenture holder being a creditor, he is not entitled to attend general meetings, he is not entitled to vote at general meetings, he can't participate in day-to-day activities. But their interest is there in company. As a result, company came up with a concept called debenture trustee. So whenever some irregularities happen, debenture trustee has to intimate debenture holders then debenture holders will take action on the company, right? When you observe, if surety got appointed as a trustee, imagine surety was appointed as a trustee and company is doing some irregularities. Trustees should communicate with holders. Imagine if yes, communicate with debenture holders. Debenture holders will immediately ask X Limited to repay the money. If X Limited failed to repay, then who is liable? Yes, is liable. Do you think S will intimate debenture holders? No. Why? Because if yes intimates debenture holders, obviously yes will be liable to debenture holders. Why? Because company is not in a position to pay the money. Now yes will keep silence with respect to this matter. There is no concept of independence. He is dependent. He's not independent. He's dependent. Are you getting my point, students? So that's the reason surety is not eligible to act as a trustee. Understood? Fine. So three persons are disqualified. Three persons are disqualified to act as a debenture trustee. Next one, seventh one. Last but one question with respect to corporate laws. State the persons responsible for complying with provisions regarding maintenance of books of accounts of a company. Support with the help of relevant provisions of the Companies Act. No, simply you need to give list of persons having responsibility with respect to books of accounts. Four persons: managing director, whole-time director in finance, CFO, and person of the company charged by board with duty of complying with provisions of section 128. You need to give the list. Next, last question, ma. Audit and auditors. Mr. Govind Ram is a partner and in charge of P and Associates. The firm is appointed as an auditor firm of Karnal Limited, a listed company. Mr. Govind Ram retires from P and Associates and after some time joined Gupta and Gupta firm as a partner on 20th June 2022. In the general meeting of Kana Limited held on 15th June 2022, the company appointed Gupta and Gupta firm as next auditor of the company. Because listed companies retirement of rotational of auditors concept is applicable. Firm can be appointed for maximum two tenures of 5 years, two term of 5 years. An individual can be appointed for one term of 5 years, right? Sir, no. Now, what happened? In this picture, what happened? Because of rotational of auditors, the one firm P and Associates is getting out. It is a retiring auditor firm. From this retiring auditor, one partner in charge, Mr. Govind Ram, he resigned from that firm and he joined Gupta and Gupta firm. Now, company is planning to appoint Gupta and Gupta firm as a next auditor. Is Gupta and Gupta eligible to act as an auditor? The answer is no. Why? Because outgoing auditor, incoming auditor, there should be no connection. Like they should not be under same brand, same if you see Big Four, they should not be under same network. They should not be under common ownership. You can observe Big Four entities, KPMG, EY, Deloitte. So they had multiple branches in India, many branches in India. Yes or no? So outgoing partner, outgoing auditor, incoming auditor, there should be no connection. Similarly, outgoing auditor, any partner, not any partner, partner in charge with respect to this company, if he resign from outgoing audit firm and if he joins incoming audit firm, then incoming audit firm is also disqualified. Incoming audit firm is also disqualified to act as an auditor of the company for the tenure of 5 years. That cooling period, did you remember? Once my term completed, 5 years cooling period will be there. During that 5 years, I'm not eligible to act as an auditor. I'm not eligible to be appointed as an auditor to the company. So see the answer, my dear students. Here, Mr. Govind Ram has retired from P and Associates and joined Gupta and Gupta firm. Mr. Govind Ram was partner in charge of P and Associates and certifies financial statements of Kana Limited. He retires from P and Associates and joins Gupta and Gupta firm. As per facts of the questions and provisions of law, Gupta and Gupta firm will also be ineligible to be appointed as an auditor of Kana Limited for a period of 5 years. Understood? So with this, my dear students, uh, amendments with respect to corporate laws and questions under corporate law completed. And you will get another video with respect to other laws. So wish you very, very all the best to your upcoming exams. Hope everyone will present the best manner they can. All the best, my dear students.